Hello, my name is Mark Curran. I'm your Lake County Sheriff. And as we approach the holiday season, holidays including prom, graduation, and the summer holidays as well, it becomes a time of the year where we celebrate many important and wonderful days. And I think it's important for me to talk to you about something that sometimes comes with those holidays, and that's drinking, specifically drinking and driving. For those of you that are not 21 years of age, I need to remind you the law is that you must be 21 years of age to drink. We will prosecute you if you have alcohol. We will prosecute you for drinking, and we will prosecute you for drinking and driving. It'll affect your lives considerably. Let me also share with you a couple stories with regards to the effects of drinking and driving in more particular. I graduated high school many years ago, 1981 to be specific. A couple weeks short of our graduation, a classmate of mine, Sean O'Halloran, who was a friend of mine, was involved in an accident where he and the other driver were drinking and driving, and as a result, I attended his funeral almost immediately prior to our graduation. It was a very tragic event. Drinking and driving affects all people, all professions, all walks of life. The Lake County Sheriff's Office family lost a deputy back in 2001 to drinking and driving. More recently than that, while I was at the police academy and a period shortly before our graduation, we watched some footage of a Chicago police officer. His name was Jason Casper. Jason Casper, as the video that we watched showed, wanted to be a police officer since he was a very little boy. We saw footage of him in a police uniform as a very young child, walking around with a toy gun and the toy handcuffs. We saw footage of his graduation when that dream became a reality. Jason Casper walked across that stage with his parents in the audience, his grandparents, his grandfather having been a police officer, and he shook Mayor Daley's hand. And at that point in time, he receives a Chicago police badge. As he becomes a sworn officer, he receives a badge number as well. It's the pinnacle of his life, and it's a very wonderful moment for Jason Casper. Jason Casper was a law-abiding, good person. But on one night back in 2006, he made a terrible decision. He got behind the wheel of a car after having gone out drinking with friends, wound up going through a red light, and in essence, as a result of that, 2 people were killed. Jason Casper is no longer a police officer, and he now has a different number than a badge number. He has a number from the Department of Corrections. That's his inmate number. Never in a million years would the family or friends or even Jason Casper himself thought that could happen to him, but it did, and it can. It can happen to anyone. Having been a prosecutor for many years and having handled many reckless homicide cases, I'll tell you this much: there is no profile of the individual that gets behind the wheel, having had too much to drink, and winds up killing people. The only common factor, the only common denominator that we can point to is that they've had too much to drink. And with young people, it's even more of an issue because they don't know their limits with regards to drinking. And we have a drinking age minimum, and that's 21 in Illinois, and it's based on very good reason. In order to be able to handle alcohol, your system needs to mature a little bit beyond where it's at right now, and we know that through scientific evidence as well. If you were to see with regards to an alcoholic, if you were to look at an x-ray of the brain pattern, and science can do that now, they can look at the brain pattern of an individual that is an alcoholic versus that of a non-alcoholic, and show the effects that alcohol has on the brain of an alcoholic. And it's clearly shown what happens in terms of the stimuli and the reaction that an alcoholic brain has. What does that mean to you? Well, we know that there's a genetic component to alcoholism. For some people, it's a cross that they carry in this world through no fault of their own. When they have that first beer or they have that first drink, they will become an alcoholic. Whether that's you or not, we don't know. But the important thing is that you don't drink and drive. You don't consume alcohol prior to 21. You have your whole life in front of you, and drinking is only going to make things worse for you. You got to be strong. You got to stand up to peer pressure. You can't give in to alcohol. First of all, you want to be a good student. You want to be an athlete or whatever other contributing member of the class that you can be. And you want to grow and mature as an individual. And if you're drinking, that's virtually impossible to do. So take my advice. Don't be cynical about it. It could hit anyone. Stay away from alcohol until you're old enough. Thank you.